Okay, as I was saying to myself before I got on camera, I tried to make this video yesterday. Let me get that. Okay. I tried to make this video yesterday, but I couldn't really come across the way that I really wanted to. So I'm going to try it again today because sometimes spirit will say, "Nah, this ain't the right time to talk about it." So I won't make the video. I will stop it. So that's what I did yesterday because it just wasn't coming across the way that I wanted to. And then I was adding some elements to it that I just really did not, that I really thought brought down the message. It did not really convey the message that I wanted to put out. Let me say this is a disclaimer. This is a spiritual channel. This is an occult channel. Okay? And what I say is not personal. It's spiritual, and only the wise understand that. And if you're not spiritual, then you just won't get it. If you get in your feelings, then you just get in your feelings. Sometimes I may say things that may trigger people, and sometimes it may be offensive to you, but it's never personal. But if you take it personal, that's your motherfucking business. That's just how I roll. Okay? But whatever you do, don't misconstrue my motherfucking words because I will come for you. And that goes for anybody. I will come for you if you misconstrue my words. Because when I talk about these type of topics, people a lot of times, they don't rely on logic or spirit, which are supposed to be intertwined. They rely on their insecurities and they rely on their own perception of what you may be saying. And that might not even be the case. My videos are not meant to offend anybody, but if it offends you, oh well. Again, I don't really give a fuck. This is my platform, and I'm going to say what the fuck I want to. Period, point blank. And don't send no motherfucking subliminals. Don't send no motherfucking subliminals because I will know. And I will address you, and that goes for any motherfucking body when I begin to talk about this motherfucking topic. Because it's not personal, because I don't really talk to anybody on here personally like that. So it's not personal. I just want to put this out into the universe because I want to add my 2 cents. Just like you motherfucking niggas and bitches sit on your channels and say what you want to say, I'm going to say what I want to say. I just want that to be known. That is just a spiritual concept. I say what I want in my energy, just like you niggas and bitches say what you want in your energy. And it's just as simple as that. Take it, leave it, love it, hate it. I really don't give a fuck. I said it and I ain't taking it back. Now, this may be triggering for some people, but again, it's not meant to be. But I think something needs to be addressed. We are having this conversation once again about transgender women versus biological women. Okay? And what really brought this conversation about was Macy Gray recently went on to Piers Morgan and she stated her view that just because you take hormones and just because you do things to alter your biology, let's just say that, because YouTube, you can't say too much these days, but just because you do things that may alter your biology does not make you a natural, real woman. And she got a lot of backlash for that. And I find that to be very interesting. Because even if I were to say, oh, I agree with Macy Gray, or I don't agree with Macy Gray, even if I were to say those things, either way, she has a right to say that. Then, a few days before that, Bette Midler made a comment that really had nothing to do with transgender people. It had to do with women. And somebody, whoever these somebodies are, I don't know who these people are. Are they aliens? I wonder about that. Somebody took offense to that and said that her comments were transphobic. Now, I read what she said, and none of that came across as transphobic. And I find that very disturbing because if you're anybody, and if you're really up to date on classy, real celebrities, they may not be perfect, but Bette Midler exerts a certain amount of class and dignity. She had that one movie where she played in the Rose. She played in Called the Rose, excuse me. Came out years ago, where she played a rocker. I think it was loosely based off of Janis Joplin. She was a rock singer back in the 1970s that died tragically of a drug overdose. I think she was murdered, but that's another story. And Bette Midler played, that was the only raunchy role that I can think of that she played. But Bette Midler exudes and exerts a certain amount of class and dignity. And Bette Midler has always been an icon to the LGBT community. She's always been, when I look at Bette, y'all not gonna, let me say this first, y'all not gonna do that to Bette Midler. I'm not gonna allow you all to put her in a category of being any type of phobic. When I look at Bette Midler's movies, I can look at that and expect entertainment, laughter, and joy. Bette Midler has brought so much joy and laughter to the motherfucking world. I don't give a fuck who has a problem with what I'm saying. Unlike a lot of these black actors, and here we go, this is the part that I'm talking about that may be triggering. Unlike a lot of these black actors of today who have interjected their political and their personal views into their movies. I'm not talking about doing an interview. I'm talking about using their movies and their music to promote agendas that are really not beneficial to black women or black men. So when I read that, I said, are you kidding me? They are really trying to call Bette Midler, of all people, transphobic? So are we moving into a culture where you can't say anything about transgender people? Are we really moving into that type of society? And I don't think Macy Gray said anything that was disrespectful or malicious. She simply said she does not believe, nor is it true, that a transgender person is a real biological woman. And quite honestly, that's the truth. And that's not meant to offend anybody, but it's just truth. They're not women. They're not biological women. They're not. I don't care how much makeup, I don't care how many hormones you get, you're not a biological woman. And here's the problem. Here's the problem. You should be okay with not being a biological woman. You should be okay with not being that. Because the things that biological women have to go through, we as men, gay, straight, indifferent, or whatever, we would not be able to go through those things. We would not be able to go through them. And I really do think, and I'm not taking up for ratchet, disrespectful, dishonorable bitches that are females, but I do think that there is an agenda to replace I think that's the real great replacement theory. We want to talk about the great replacement theory. I think that the real replacement theory is them trying to replace biological women with trans women. And that is not right. Because everybody should stay in their own fucking lane. And I really think that is disingenuous. I think that, no, it is disingenuous. It is really disingenuous to hear gay men and trans women say that, and it's become a black issue again. I think it's disingenuous for them to say that black women are not supportive, in a sense. That's what they're implying. That black women are not supportive of trans women. Well, if that's the case, how do you think T.S. Madison became who she was? Because T.S. Madison did not become what she was or what she is without the support of black women. Let's be honest. And I guarantee you that even the black women that support T.S. Madison, deep down inside, they're like in their minds, even though they may not say it, even though they may have love and respect for T.S. Madison, they even probably say, to me, that's still a man. His mother, Miss Mary, even feels that way because she still called him, from what I understand, didn't Miss Mary still call him Timothy, his real name? Listen, I don't care how people identify with themselves or how they identify in general. The point that I'm making, it's not about that, and I'm not being biased. But what I'm pointing out is this. We're moving into a society where you can't say anything. That you can't give your opinion without being canceled or chastised. That's the point that I'm making. And all of these people who seemingly want to cancel people because they give their opinion, who are these people in the background? Who are these people? Oh, you can't say this. And then here's another thing, and it was a point that I was trying to make that I can't remember. That's usually because there's spirit coming through. Here's another thing. How can trans women that are black fix their mouths, or gay men that are black, how can you fix your mouths to even say that black women are your issue? Or imply that? Or that's the word that I was looking for earlier. Or how can you say that black women are complicit? Because that's what's been floating around too, that black women are complicit in causing harm to black trans women or even black gay people. Because truth be told, as gay black men, they're pushing, trans people are pushing us out the way as well. Because it was the gay boys that really were the foundation, along with the lesbians and butches and stuff, them too, that were really the foundation of the LGBT community. It was not, and when I say gay boys, I'm talking about gay men who dressed in drag, who did the ballroom scenes and stuff like that. And none of them took hormones per se. They worked with their own energies. They worked within themselves and they manifested whatever look that they wanted to do, which is what I did. They didn't really need those artificial hormones. So when people say that you're not natural when you're trans, and I don't mean natural as in being derogatory. I'm talking about in terms of being a natural woman, then do they have a point? Because you're taking hormones and you're taking outside sources to make yourself look more feminine. See, I never had to do that. I never had to do that. Number one, I have the voice, and my face is not hard. That's a natural thing for me. And you can't make something that is unnatural, you can't make it natural. So in actuality, I'm more of a, if we really want to play this game, if you really want to try to say that you can, how can I put this? That you can compete with a biological woman, then that would mean, according to your standards, these are to the trans people who feel this way, according to your standards, you say that biological women are competing with you, or they feel a certain type of way about you. But in actuality, if you're taking hormones to look the way that you do, how can you be called a woman? If that makes sense. Let me say it another way. If you want to be looked at as a natural woman, then you shouldn't have to take hormones to do it. You should rely on your own energies to do it, because people really don't understand the transgender and the gay energy. They don't really understand it. And none of it has to do with competing with a biological woman. What we're really supposed to be doing, in actuality, is paying homage to the divine feminine energy and to those black women who are deserving of that. That's what it used to be about, paying homage to the divine feminine energy. That is why men would dress up in drag and dress as women and stuff like that. Not to try to take over or try to take their place, which black women, y'all ain't got nothing to worry about. That'll never happen. Can't nobody take your motherfucking place. Don't let these motherfuckers put that in your fucking mind. Can't nobody take your motherfucking place. And I am not advocating for any group. I advocate for me. Okay? So don't get it twisted. It's not me advocating for all black women, because black women don't need me to do that. Okay? But what I am saying is that no one can take the black woman's place. No one. But it makes you think that there's an attempt to do that, but they won't succeed, because there are too many, despite, contrary to popular opinion, there are too many black women in the world. Black women outnumber a lot of people. Black women are a big part of the global population, and they will never be able to take you completely out, no matter what type of agenda they come up with. But in actuality, like I was saying, when we would dress up in drag and stuff like that, that is to pay homage to black women and to their beauty and to their grace. That's what it was. That's what it was used for back in the day. And the men that were, I'm not talking about men that mess with both men and women. I'm talking about men who specifically like our type of energy. But the problem has come in. All of these energies are now being intertwined. They're now all being intertwined. That's just like I was looking at College Hill, right? And I was looking at College Hill, and Big Frida was having a conversation with that rapper Young Slim or something like that. I don't know these rappers. And Big Frida is a drag queen. No problem. Do what you do. But the problem that I had with Big Frida, this is the problem that I had with Big Frida. When he was talking to Young Slim, he said that, to my younger brothers and sisters, I'm mama. No, you're not mama though. You're not mama. And if you're being called that behind the scenes, then you don't need to make that public. You don't need to make that public. You don't need to put that out into the universe, because that type of energy implies that you are competing with black women in a sense. I'm talking about black women who are females, who actually have real vaginas, who have real ovaries. And I know what y'all thinking. Well, Sia Grant, how could you say that? You're a gay guy. You're supposed to be on our side. I'm on the side of balance. And this shit right here is causing an imbalance. Now, it's nothing wrong with those people calling him that. But why would you make that public? That's not for public view. What a lot of people do not understand about this type of energy, a lot of this type of energy is dark side type of work. This is not for public viewing. Transgenderism, drag queens, gay, a lot of this is underworld type of stuff. And it's not supposed to interfere with our heterosexual sisters and brothers. We are actually supposed to give them different perspectives on the opposite sex. That's really part of our spiritual reason for being the way that we are. We can give women a different perspective on their mates, and we can give men a different perspective on theirs. But what's happening is that you have these aliens, I'm going to call them aliens, or whatever they are, in the background, promoting these off-brand agendas to create division and chaos among black women and black trans women and black gay men. And this story has been retold time and time again. And the notion that black women are complicit in the suffering of black trans women is absolutely disingenuous, and it's not true. Because had it not been for black women, a lot of the gay men, and I said this before, a lot of the gay men and a lot of the trans women here on YouTube would not even be known, because black men don't rock with us like that. Black men don't fuck with us like that. They could be cool with us to a certain degree, but black women, they go all the way with us. And we don't give them the respect and the credit that they deserve. Truthfully, we don't. Well, y'all don't. I do. But y'all don't. There would be no T.S. Madison if there weren't any black women. If it weren't for black women, excuse me. There would be no Funky Dineva if it weren't for black women supporting him. Even though to me, he don't show any grace or appreciation. And that is why I made that video. Should black women stop giving their support to the black gays and the transgender? Look at what Saucy Santana said. All that smugness. Oh, we are your saviors. Really? Really? And I'm not trying to kiss up to black women. It's not about that. It's about examining the truth. The truth. Because black men don't fuck with us like that. Why would any person want to put themselves in a position where they know they could possibly be killed or harmed? And that's a question, a rhetorical question, rather, for black trans women. Why would you put yourself in a position when you know some of these men may not be into you? Because there was a conversation about black women telling heterosexual black men that's not a real female. Let's say if they're in the club or something, in a heterosexual club, and there's a transgender woman that comes in, and you can't really tell that it's really a dude, because that has happened to me before. I'm a real transgender person, because real transgenderism is not about living as a particular gender. Like I said, it's dark work that you do it's dark side work. Let me just say that. It's dark side work, where you manifest a certain look where you don't even have to take no fucking hormones and stuff. You can live in your natural whatever you are without trying to rob and steal and try to, make yourself into someone else and taking those poisonous fucking hormones, which I believe fuck a lot of people up. And I don't care who gets offended by it. But let's say a trans woman walks into a heterosexual club, black trans woman, that's a predominantly black club, because we know how black heterosexual men feel about gay people, and we know how they feel about trans people in general. They can be cool with us up until a certain degree, but deep down inside, they don't like us like that. And I've explained to you all my experiences over there with those folks that which most of you all know me from being Sia Grant. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know when I was over there with those people, they were cool with me up until a certain degree. But they don't like gay people like that. And I accept that. And once I realized what they were, and once I realized how fake and phony they were, I left them motherfuckers alone. You cannot make people accept you. You go into a club that's primarily heterosexual, and then there are black women in that club. Y'all know how black women are. Black women can be messy as a motherfucker, just like that's where we learn it from. And it's okay to be a little motherfucking messy. But sometimes being messy, and black women don't take that the wrong way. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. But sometimes being messy is necessary. Because how are you going to take away a person's right to choose? You want people to respect you and your rights, but you want to go into a club and pretend to be a biological woman, which you're not, to try to attract heterosexual men. But what if one of those heterosexual men don't get down like that? And then you end up getting harmed. So while people may say, oh, that's shady for a black woman to do that, but at the same time, what if that's saving your motherfucking life? It's a double-edged sword to that. That's why I said that little bit of messiness. What if that's saving your life? You're going into a heterosexual club as a transgender person, looking like a woman, in your womanness, not biological womanness, but in their image, because the black woman is God. So you want to be in the image of God. Okay. But what if those men don't want a transgender person? Because I feel exactly just like them, and I don't give a fuck who thinks it's transphobic or not. I feel exactly the same motherfucking way. I am not attracted to transgender men, and that includes the women who transition into men and the men who try to transition into women, okay? I am not attracted to either. I'm not. And I would be pissed the fuck off if somebody tried to trick me I would be pissed. And that's the problem. You can't take away a person's choice. When I used to frequent dating sites, and sometimes I still do, even though I got somebody, but I still do what I do sometimes because I can do that. Because I'm that motherfucker, okay? Or fatherfucker in my case. Anyway, when I would frequent dating sites, dressed in drag, because they can't really see my Adam's apple, all of our Adam's apple, people say, check the Adam's apple. A lot of times, some men, you can't see our Adam's apple. And because I have a plump face, and because I have certain features that are feminine, including my eyes and my bone structure, a lot of times men don't know that I'm a dude. So I always tell them, hey, listen, you know I'm a dude, don't you? And either they're going to say yay or nay. But you always should give that person the choice to decide if they want to deal with you. You should always be honest about that. So if a black woman if you're going into a heterosexual club where 99% of the men are looking for heterosexual biological women, that is their haven. That is their playground. And you're going in as another type of energy, unknowing, and then once that is exposed, of course it's going to be some type of controversy. Just like when I was over there with them niggas on that fucking in that occult community, that black occult community. They were okay up until a certain degree, but after a while, they switch up on you. And that's okay too. I'm not faulting them for that because they got to do what they got to do. Black men, and I'm talking about black men. Black men are not trustworthy people. Just facts. A lot of them are not. I'm not going to say all of them because I've made some very good black male friends. You know what I'm saying? But the people that I have really been able to trust the most, in my journey, with the exception of a few simple bitches, have mainly been black women. And like I told you, when I have spiritual problems, I go to black women. So black women are needed. Black women are needed. And black women cannot be replaced. Hormones cannot replace black women. I'm sorry. And then for you all to try to cancel Bette Midler when it had nothing to do with you. Why is this version of the trans community, why is this version always trying to make something about them when it's not about them? She was talking about biological women and how Roe versus Wade affects them. That is what she was talking about. She wasn't even talking about trans women. Trans women can't even get pregnant. Allegedly, because I don't know what all this shit that's going on now. Who knows? But as far as I know, trans women cannot get pregnant. So are black women not supposed to say anything when they are seemingly up under attack from the same community that they are supporting? Because without the black woman's money, there would have been no T.S. Madison or Funky Dineva or any other gay or trans well-known black person on these motherfucking streets. See, white trans, you know, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm going to be honest. See, white trans people, they pay homage to their females. They do. They don't do this type of shit. And I'm being honest, they don't do this type of bullshit. And I don't understand how Macy Gray's comments has now reignited this conversation of trans black women versus black females. I can't even get those words out, because that's, for me, in my energy and my dimensions, that is unthinkable. Black women are not in competition with no fucking trans women. And real trans people, such as myself, we know not to be in competition with black women. We know better than that shit. Why would I be in competition with the energy that brought me into this motherfucking world? That makes no sense to me. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be totally honest. And I may be, you know, and this may be straddling the line. I told you this video may be triggering to some people. And you know what? It is what the fuck it is. I don't care about that. I don't think black women are competing with trans women. I think you all are trying to compete where you don't compare. You're trying to compete with black women. And instead of some of you just allowing men to choose if they want to be with you, you would rather deceive them. You would rather deceive them and tell them, "Oh no, I'm really a woman. I mean, I look like a woman. I have breasts and everything like a woman. So why don't you accept me like a woman?" Because some men want the original, I'm going to say prototype, if that's the right word. They want the original woman who was born as a female. And then there are some men who don't mind the hormone-induced version of a woman. And if that offends you, it just offends you. I don't care. I'm not trying to be offensive, but I know people will get offended. Because if you take hormones, you're taking hormones to induce a response in your body so you can grow breast and be more feminine. It's nothing wrong with that, if that's what you want to do. But what you don't have the right to do, and I have a problem with, is when you're trying to create chaos and division between black women, gay black men, and black trans. See, that's the problem. Because I'm old school, and old school black gays, we never had no issues with black women like this. Maybe a couple of ignorant bitches I went to school with. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe a couple of ignorant bitches I've run into, you know. But for the most part, we've never had no issues with black women. And them having an issue with our sexual orientation. That's some bullshit that's being created. And we keep falling for it. Just like we fell for Saucy Santana. But the people that are backing up these types of people are the Ray J's and the Puff Daddies. They're backing up these types of people. And then you had Ray J, and I don't care how you all feel about Stacey Dash. You had Ray J disrespecting Stacey Dash on College Hill, but in the same breath, he's telling black men that you need to show more love to the LGBT community. No, how about this? Why don't you tell black men to start healing their relationships with black women so we can have the world back in balance the way that it should be? Because when the heterosexual black man and the black woman are out of order, we're all out of order. Can the church say amen and hallelujah? Can the church say amen and hallelujah? That's what he should have said. The real LGBT community, we know that this is underworld type of stuff. That is why we don't really get involved in a lot of this shit. These new version of gays and transgender people, I don't know where they come from. I don't even know if they're fully human, and you can get mad all you want. Because with all of the hormones and all of the things that they are experiencing, all of this artificial bullshit that they're taking in from their phones, from their computers, and yada, 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 and all this shit, that is artificial energy being infused into their consciousness. And it causes a disruption in the spirit. Now, I can acknowledge that there are some black women who ain't shit, who feel certain types of ways about gays and transgenders or whatever the case may be. Yeah, we understand that. But the overwhelming majority of black women have been our biggest supporters. So for anyone to imply that black women are complicit in causing harm to black LGBT people, that's bullshit. Because most of the people that have called me a faggot, most of the people who have stabbed me in my motherfucking back, most of the people who've cut me in my motherfucking throat have not been black women because of my sexual orientation. It's been black men. Like them niggas over there in that fucking fake ass occult conscious community. When ain't none of them got no fucking consciousness. For real, for real. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I'm getting a little angry talking about it because I can do that. This is my spiritual work. This is what I do. This is my art form. This is what I do. I'm not doing it like everybody else. See, at one time, gay people and trans people, we had our own creativity and our own way of doing things. But now we want to be this cookie cutter type of energy. We want to do everything like everybody else do. And the ideology that black women are complicit in causing harm to black trans people and black gay people, or black trans people specifically, is simply not true. Black women are saying this, and I don't want to speak for black women because I'm not a black woman, but I'm just going to try to channel the black woman a little bit. Black women are saying this: trans women, we have respect for you, we love you, but you are not us. You can't go through the same things that we go through. There are things that we go through naturally that you can't really understand. We go through things in our bodies, we go through things in our minds, we go through things in our spirits, and we go through things with men that you don't understand. As many men I've been with, I have never gone through half of the shit that women have had to go through dealing with some of these men, because number one, I'm not a parent. That's a whole dynamic when a woman gives birth to a child, and then the father wants to act like a motherfucking bitch ass motherfucking nigga, and then this woman has to be connected to this man for the rest of her life, really, up until the child gets to be an appropriate age where they can take care of themselves. And then that child could possibly be a reminder of that person. And the woman has to put her feelings aside like a lot of mothers do to deal with that. That it's that element. Then having to deal with misogyny and sexism. And a lot of misogyny exists even within the gay community. Come on now. Shit, this motherfucker that lives with me right now is a fucking misogynist, but he getting ready to get the fuck out my motherfucking house. He's misogynist against women. He's misogynist against gay people. Oh y'all, oh yeah, y'all, it ain't working. It ain't working. It ain't working, child. I'm gonna tell y'all that in another video. It ain't working. But I'm working him. I'm working him. And see, that's always been my problem. Getting rid of these motherfuckers. I don't want this dude anymore. I'm getting ready to divorce this motherfucker, and thank God it ain't legal. I can just throw his ass out. It's not working. Because he's not for me. Because black men have a pathology with them where they think that toxic behavior is normal. And it doesn't matter if you're straight, gay, or transgender. If you were born a male, you have the potential, if you're not spiritually in tune like myself, to be a misogynist. See, I think that women can do anything that they want to do. I think women can do anything. I don't have a problem with a woman being my manager, with a woman being my supervisor or my boss or telling me what to do. Never had that issue. The only issue that I've had with black women is trying to degrade or trying to take their frustrations out on me because they got an issue with some other man or something else. That's the only issues I've had with certain black women, but that's been far and few, really in between. See, when I did used to work in, in other people's industries, I never had an issue with a woman being my supervisor, black or white, period. As a matter of fact, I think I got along better with women than I did fucking niggas. Because niggas are always trying to exert their authority over somebody because black men have an insecurity with them. Just like this motherfucker that lives with me. They have an insecurity with them. And sometimes shit just don't work out. Sometimes shit just does not work out. It just doesn't. And I'm okay with that. I'm going to be okay. But he's the one that don't want to let go. I don't fuck with him like that no more. I don't fuck with him. And he getting the fuck up out my motherfucking house. But that's another motherfucking story. You feel what I'm saying? Because I can get somebody else like that. But the problem has always been for me is getting rid of them. They don't want to go. They want to hold on to something when it's toxic. But black men, their minds they have such a reprobate of mind. I'm going back to my Christian roots. They have such a reprobate of mind that they think that toxicity is normal. And this ties into this whole conversation. This shit is toxic. It is toxic. Black women are not our enemy. Contrary to what people want to promote. Black women are not our enemy. Black women are not the enemy. Contrary to what people want to promote. Going back to College Hill, when Big Frida was having that conversation with Young Slim or Young, whatever his name was, he told Big Frida, I've never been able to really rock with someone like you, meaning a gay person or a drag queen or something like that. And I looked at that conversation, I was like, why did he even have to even though he was being honest, why did he even have to interject that I've never been able to rock with somebody like you? Well, we've never been able to rock with people like you either. And that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying about black men. So when we really look at who has really been, supporting of gay black men and black trans women, it has not been black men. Not even the ones who are supposed to support us. Because most of the people that watch my channel probably are black women. Even other gay men don't support, other black gay men don't support me like that. Them motherfuckers are fake too. They fake too, and not the ones that I'm cordial with. But I'm just saying, they fake too. They have their own agenda. I had one, maybe two out of my entire life. Out of my entire life, I've only had two really good gay friends. And one of them was my childhood friend who passed away years ago from AIDS. Black women are not enemies to trans people. And that narrative needs to stop. If anything, black women have, like I said, there would not have been a T.S. Madison if it weren't for Miss Mary. Miss Mary and her prayers and her love and support, along with the other black women around T.S. Madison, is the reason that T.S. Madison is who he is. Okay? And while we're on that topic, what did black women get in return for that? They got called fish, which is a derogatory, disgusting term, an untruthful term, derogatory term to describe a black woman's vagina, trying to imply that it smells like fish. If anyone took sexual education, you would know that a woman's vagina does not smell like fish. What makes a woman's vagina smell like fish is the man's semen. Our semen has a fishy smell. But see, a lot of these people are uneducated, uncouth people. And they don't understand that. See, I'm old school. We took sex education and we covered that. And my sex education teacher was a man. He told us, he said, hey, look, it's the man's semen that makes the woman's vagina smell a tad bit fishy. Women do not have fishy smelling vaginas. I done had my face up in a pussy before, okay? I may be gay, but I done had some pussy before. And a pussy don't smell like no motherfucking fish, okay? So let's stop with this. But T.S. Madison called women fish, and yet y'all still support this person. Y'all still give this person all your money. So it's a double-edged sword. You had T.S. Madison that put, and this happened a couple of years ago, and when that lady, I think her name was Neek at Night or something like that, when she said, hey, look, I didn't appreciate that, everybody attacked her and jumped down her throat. Everyone. So when Macy Gray says that trans women are not real women, she's telling the truth. You're not a female. And people can get mad about that all they want. You should be happy with who you are. If somebody says to me, you ain't no woman, you ain't no real female, okay. I'm a whole motherfucking dude. And I'm okay with that. Whether I'm wearing a wig or not, or dress or not, I'm okay with that. As long as I'm getting me some dick. I don't give a fuck how they think about me, as long as I'm getting what I want. And as long as it's not your man, it shouldn't fucking matter. But T.S. Madison said calling women fish and think that that's acceptable when it's not. That's not acceptable. That's derogatory. But Bette Midler makes a reference as it pertained to the Roe versus Wade situation, and she's being called transphobic. But nobody's calling T.S. Madison womanphobic. Because contrary to what a lot of you may think, and contrary to what a lot of you may believe, a lot of your icons on here that are trans and gay, they don't even like women. But you're giving them all of your money. You're giving them all of your energy. I'm just being honest. A womb man is a womb man. A transgender person is a transgender person. And I think that the woman part needs to be dropped. That's just my personal opinion. I don't give a fuck who gets mad. If you're transgender, just say you're transgender. I was a man and I transitioned to look more like a woman. But a womb man is a womb man. That's a totally different energy. And it cannot be artificially induced with hormones. It can't. There's nothing wrong with being a transgender person. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you start trying to get in other people's lane, that is where the problem comes in. And you can't get in the black woman's lane, especially when the black woman is the hand that's feeding a lot of you and supporting a lot of you, including a lot of gay black men. I don't even get the same support. I don't get it, and I'm okay with that. I don't get that. Because I'm not on YouTube for people to give me all of their money. That's not why I'm on here. I have my own money. I don't need other people's money. It may not be much, but I got enough for me. And I'm happy with what I have. And I'm happy in my own fucking energy. And I think that is what a lot of trans black people need to be. Happy in your own energy. Be happy and comfortable and secure in your own energy. And that's all I really have to say. No, we are not canceling Bette Midler. And no, we're not canceling Macy Gray either. Because Macy Gray is my motherfucking girl too. Remember that song Ghetto Heaven? That's my motherfucking song. I think that was with her and what's his face? I can't think of his name. Common. I think Common was in that video. Plus, Macy Gray played in for Colored Girls. There have been very few black heterosexual men who've come to my aid or who've really been good friends to me. I'm talking about really good friends. Dealing with them has always been with a long-handled spoon. And I'm okay with that. I've not had that many good male friends, but I've had a lot of good female friends throughout the years. Older, younger, doesn't matter. So I can't get with this ideology of verses. Ain't no motherfucking verses. There is no verses. Because you can't compete where you don't compare. You can't compete where you don't compare. And that's not a disrespect. That's telling a truth. Trans women or people who identify with being a trans woman, you cannot compare yourself to a female who was born a female. You can't compare yourself to them. You cannot. And we're not going to keep playing this game. And when it comes to the spiritual side of it, like I said, Transgenderism, that's more darker side, underground, underworld work. And they've tried to make it mainstream because what they're really trying to do is tap into an ancient type of energy. They're trying to tap into an ancient form of energy through the lenses of the ego. And that's why it's causing the problems that it's causing. Because they're not tapping into the spirit of it, which is being able to work with both your masculine and your feminine energy. Not trying to be one particular person to get people to accept you and to push out agendas. And I know people ain't gonna like that. And black women are the archetype for the divine feminine energy. Black women are the archetype for that. And people can get mad, they can get glad, they don't have to like it. But we use the image of the black woman to mold what we want to look like in our drag shows and stuff like that, or when people do stuff like that. And that's supposed to pay homage to their beauty and to their elegance and to their beautiful features. But instead, it's being used for something totally different now. And now, because this energy is being used through the lens of the ego, and it's not being used through the lens of the subconscious to promote the expansion of your consciousness and understanding of the energy, because it's not being used in that aspect, we have this fucking mess that we have now. Get out my face with that bullshit. Get out my face with that. Get out, just get out my face with that shit. Remember, this isn't personal. It's observation. It's observation. Black women have been some of the biggest supporters of gay black people and black trans women. Real talk. This is the occult view. And that's all I really have to say. Thank you.